right, futures green ahead of Monday's open here on Thanksgiving week. S&P futures up 0.65%, Dow futures up 0.36%, and the Nasdaq leading the way higher here at 0.95%. Let's take a look at some cues from last session here. Communication services, healthcare, materials, consumer discretionary, and real estate stock sectors led the gains on Friday as all sectors ended in the green. So we talked about a potential bottoming move and then a move higher on Friday. Well, indeed, that's exactly what we got. Can we hold on to that? That's obviously going to be the next $64,000 question. And as mentioned, futures green here in the pre-market ahead of the open. Optimism among investors is rising following New York Fed President John Williams' indication that a rate cut in December is still on the table. We talked a little bit about that. The CME watch tool is changing pretty rapidly. We're going to keep our eye on that as we get closer to that December meeting date. He said in a speech on Friday that, I quote, "I still see room for further adjustment in the near term to the target range for the federal funds rate to move the stance of policy closer to the range of neutral," end quote. So basically telling you that it's a possibility here, but no decision has been made yet. Meanwhile, investors await earnings from Dell, HP, Deere, and Lee Auto this week, and others in this Thanksgiving shortened week. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.05%, hovering right around that 4%, unable to really trade beneath it yet. The 2-year bond was at 3.51%. Now, we do have some stocks in focus for you here today. The first one is going to be ticker Pony, Pony. That rose 2.59% in the pre-market on Monday as it announced a partnership with ride-hailing platform Sunshine Mobility to build large-scale autonomous driving fleets. So we have a new player here, or another advancement in one of the players in the autonomous driving cycle or theme. We Ride is our next ticker here. That's ticker WRD. That jumped 7.92% as its revenue grew 144.3% year over year to $24 million. Gross profit also rose 1,123.9%, yikes, year over year to $7.9 million in the third quarter. The next stock here is Alphabet. I know a lot of you folks are talking about Google already. Alphabet here, ticker GOOG and GOOGL. That gained 2.38% after it surpassed Microsoft in market value on Friday, following the launch of Gemini 3 and Nano Banana. I didn't know what Nano Banana was. Apparently, it is an AI tool that does a magnificent job creating images. And some of these images can be created for work purposes like flow charts and diagrams, as well as the obvious comedy that can be layered on top of that. So didn't have Nano Banana in my news read here today, but here we are. This job continues to surprise. The next stock on the list here is going to be Zoom Communications. That's ticker ZM. That was 0.52% higher ahead of its expected earnings to be released after the closing bell here today. Wall Street is expecting $121 per share on revenue of $1.21 billion. Remember, Zoom, one of the COVID darlings. We'll see if that can actually trade up on the back of its earnings. The last stock on our list of stocks in focus here today is going to be Keysight Technologies. This is ticker KEYS. That was up 0.45% as analysts expect it to report earnings of $177 per share on revenue of $1.39 billion after the closing bell.